still having a good time? That's the part where y'all supposed to say, yeah, okay, thank you so much. I appreciate your audience participation out here. Okay, well, listen, I'm excited about our very next conversation. It is all about access, advocacy, and the future of care for Black women. So we're going to have a panel discussion, and I'm excited about that because I believe that it is okay to take care of ourselves, especially now and in the future. So this conversation is really based on how for far too long, many of us have felt like we are surviving the healthcare system instead of being supported by it. This conversation brings together the founders and leaders who are not only helping individuals better navigate healthcare today, but actively building new models of care designed for Black women in mind. From understand how to advocate for yourself, advocate for your family, as well as how to explore how Black women are creating culturally grounded, tech-enabled health solutions, this session connects what we can do now and how we can build for the future. Now, if you're in the audience, you can expect to learn practical tools to take control of your healthcare experience, a deeper understanding of how community-driven innovation is reshaping what healthcare looks like, especially for Black women. Now, here to moderate this conversation is someone that you might have seen yesterday, but she is back today, and I'm super excited about that. We have the one and only Jennifer Jakai Johnson. Let's give Jennifer some love as she makes her way to the stage.
Hello. Hello, hello.
I love it. Up next, we have Chantel Thomas of Thomas Collaborative Consulting. Yes, come on, Miss Chantel. Look amazing. Glad to have you back today. Joining her is Crystal Dobson of Cardiac Fit. Let's go ahead and give Crystal a round of applause. Yes, Crystal. And last but certainly not least, here to round out this powerhouse panel, we have the one and only Miss Rika Martin of Royalty Health Incorporated. All right, Miss Shakai, the stage is yours. I hope you have an amazing panel discussion.
Yes, thank you so much. So, Essence, welcome, Essence family. How are you all doing today? Okay, I feel the energy now by the end. I want some more energy, okay? All right. So our goal today is to give you 3 takeaways, okay? And one of those takeaways is your voice belongs in your healthcare journey. Your voice belongs in your healthcare journey. Prevention, education, and healing matter just as much as treatment. And the future of healthcare is being shaped by Black women. So I want to say a little bit about myself, and then each of our panelists are going to speak as well, okay? So I'm Jennifer Jakai Johnson of Wellness. I'm the founder and CEO, and I'm a trauma educator. And Wellness is a virtual integrative trauma care clinic for women.
Good afternoon. My name is Chantel Thomas. I'm often found at the intersection of public health, communication, and social impact. For the last 24 years, I've worked in public health, HIV specifically, making sure that competency also lands well with community.
Hey, Essence. I'm founder and CEO of Cardiac Fit, where we're focused on improving access to cardiac care and advocacy. Thank you.
I am Rika Martin of Royalty Health Incorporated, where we focus on navigating healthcare and creating ecosystems for providers and patients to work together.
Thank you, ladies. Clap, 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 clap. We got some great minds, some great wisdom is about to be dropped. Okay, so we're going to kick it off, all right? What problems are you seeing around Black women's health within your particular space of healthcare?
For me, I would say lack of access within marginalized communities. Just because it's centered in the community doesn't mean it always lands well with those who need access and understanding to said systems. So that's one of the biggest problems. Or we're in that community. Just because you're visible doesn't mean you're always valuable if no one is actually entering into your entity to receive services.
Improving access to healthcare cardiac care is specifically one of the things that we focus on. What I would like to say is that cardiac health is one of the biggest things that kills Black women. 33% of you guys don't even know that. You don't know that that's your threat. Our goal at Cardiac Fit is to show you that and to educate on what that looks like.
I think health literacy is one of the main things because people aren't understanding their diagnosis. They don't understand the lifestyle changes that they need to make, and they don't understand how to take their medicine or when to take it.
You know, there was a quote. I'm gonna pull what you said out. You said, "Just because you're visual does not mean you're valuable." Oh my God, that hit y'all. They can see you, but do you like really understand what I'm going through, right? All right. Okay, so let's go to the next question. What happens when access exists but understanding does not?
Death, honestly, because if you can have access, if you don't understand your diagnosis, you don't understand your medications, you don't understand the proper treatment, then you're going to end up in the hospital multiple times, multiple ER visits, and ultimately you can die from not understanding.
I want to like go into a subsection of this. Can you explain what access means? Meaning, like, do you not have insurance? Are there not certain doctors in your area? Do you live very far from the doctor? Give us an example of access.
So that it's a combination of all of that. What we have are healthcare deserts. I don't know if you guys know what that looks like. You can have a place in an urban district where there is no healthcare outlet within 5, 10, 15-mile radius. That is lack of access to healthcare. That means not having insurance, not having a physical location, not having access to a provider that can give you the specialty that you need to take care of your disease. That's the lack of access to healthcare, and that's something that Cardiac Fit is looking to improve.
So, where do you see women falling through the cracks most often then?
I think women fall through the cracks because we don't speak up. We wait till the last minute to go to the doctor. We don't get regular checkups on a regular basis, and we pretty much just take it as I'll go once I get everybody else taken care of.
I would also like to add that it's like autonomy. We recognize our power in other spaces, but not in healthcare. So we will send our husband's foods back if it's not right, but when it's a provider, well, they said, not knowing that we have the power to press back and say, hey, I don't understand. I don't think that's right. I may not be an expert on my diagnosis, but oftentimes I'm an expert of how my body feels. And so I want us to understand that we do have the power to press back.
I think most of the time what I've seen is that we don't understand healthcare. We don't understand our insurance. We don't understand when we have a surgery, what that process after the surgery looks like. We don't understand our medications. We don't understand our prescriptions. We don't understand our insurance and how it covers our prescription. And I think what that starts with education and understanding what that looks like to move forward and expectations for our providers, for our health, for hospitals, and for everyone involved in these decisions that affect our lives.
I would also say that's like fueled by systemic racism because oftentimes when you present to the hospital with a presenting issue, it's often like just overglazed and overlooked. That's normal. No, that's not normal. That's an issue that should be looked into a little more. It doesn't go back to, well, maybe you should lose some weight. Maybe it's just this. Oftentimes you may not have your family history as well. And so it's just, oh, well, that may run in your family and it stops there.
You know, you each of you brought up something. So, putting on the super cape, understanding medication, the pushback, the overglaze. You know, I also think of when you go to the doctor, you want to ask them questions and the way they look at you. Sometimes you feel like, okay, do I need to dress up when I go to the doctor, or do I have to present myself a certain way? And so all of these things are concerns around what kind of checklist we should put together, which I'm gonna come back to. How do dismissal and mistrust show up in real healthcare experiences?
Dismissal and mistrust can show up in various ways, from either a misdiagnosis, improper treatment of what is actually going on, and sometimes just being sent home with no clear answers as to what is wrong with you.
We had a talk on yesterday about when they don't listen. And a lot of times they're not direct with not listening to you. Sometimes these are microaggressions where they listen to you, but they don't do what you ask. I think what we have to understand is that our healthcare is non-negotiable. We can get what we want. We just have to ask the right person and keep asking the right provider until we get the healthcare we deserve.
It shows up, again, in structural barriers and systems where you look at things that are not for us. I think it was J. Marion Sims is named the godfather of gynecology, and he openly operated on black women and said they don't have any nerve endings, so they can't feel pain. And these are systems that still like refer to him as the godfather of gynecology. So when you show up in these spaces, some of those same practices are passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah, ladies, you have me thinking about racism within healthcare and even thinking about going a little bit further than that, the isms. So weightism, sexism, of course, racism, even capitalism in terms of like your social economic background as you're coming into the office. So this leads me to ask you, why do you think healthcare has historically been more reactive than proactive, especially in our black communities?
I think fear is one of the main targets because we've been treated so wrong through over time that we don't want to go because we're afraid. I mean, if you think about the Mississippi appendectomy, he was telling black women that you need your appendix taken out, but in all honesty, he was giving them hysterectomies. So when you've been treated like that and that fear has been passed down from generation to generation and you don't have a provider that you trust, then those issues continue from generation to generation.
I think our healthcare system is built on being reactive. We react to heart attacks. We react to cancer. We react to kidney failure. What are we doing to prevent these things? I think prevention in itself is a really hard thing to do, but that's where we need to be leaning towards, and that's something that we have to actually push forward and focus on like every day.
I would also say it's also a business, right? You look at these, commercial insurances, you have to do X to get Y. You have to get this prescription for that prescription. This surgery costs X amount of dollars. X, like hysterectomies are one of the highest grossing surgeries. So you look at things like that.
Black women.
For black women, exactly,
For
right?
black women.
For black women, if they know they can get X dollars, well, why would I work myself out of a job, right? So I hate to say it, but sometimes it's looked at as a business.
Another thing that just came to mind, the theme I'm hearing here is confidence. And I mean confidence in ourselves and how we can better advocate for ourselves in the healthcare system. So what are some practical ways women can better navigate appointments and follow-up care? And I'm going to break that down just a little bit more. How do we know we have a good provider? And then what does a culturally responsive provider look like? Because we want to be confident so that we're not reacting, we're proactive, because we have the confidence in going to the doctor as well.
I think a good provider that is actually listening to you and understanding you is a provider that listens to the choices that you want to make. You may not be ready to take that medication. You may want to try different lifestyle changes. Some doctors will push the medication and fire you as a patient if you don't follow their instructions. You don't want that kind of provider that is dismissing what you're saying, pushing medication, not doing the tests that you are requesting, not listening to your family history. So you want to make sure that the provider that you hire for you is actually for you.
I think in itself, healthcare is not a one-size-fits-all. And I think sometimes you can run into providers that are looking to push people through the system versus actually looking at you as a patient, as an individual, to figure out what you want, what you need. So specifically, let's talk about individuals with hypertension. You have first lines of medication. Usually it's a diuretic. Guess what? That doesn't fit everybody. It doesn't. So having a provider that actually listens to you, look at your labs innately, and figure out what you as a patient actually needs to improve your health is what we need.
I would say it's not only patient-centered, it's provider-centered as well, as it should be an equal partnership. You should feel heard. You should not feel scared to talk to your provider. You should not feel scared to ask questions. It should be a place where you feel like I'm getting all of my answers, all of my questions answered, and all of my boxes checked.
And I want to add, too, that you want to look for clinicians that lean in. And what I mean by that is, say, for example, you're going to the doctor and you shared, like, for instance, it could be a traumatic experience, a child passed, your child passed, and this doctor just keeps on going. They don't even stop and say, oh, let me acknowledge that. Like, tune in to, like, how are you acknowledging the problems and the life stories I'm telling you? Because the life stories also play a part in what's happening with your health. So if they're not going to take the time to understand the life stories and what you're going through, then how can they best help you with your health care, okay? The next question would have to be, what are the best practices for using AR tools to help with healthcare experiences?
AI is a tool, and whether we like it or not, it's not going anywhere. So we need to learn to embrace it. What does that look like, especially with navigating healthcare? Everyone goes into your doctor's appointment with some sort of questions, right? Write that in your AI chat. Say, hey, I'm having back pain. What are some questions that I need to ask my doctor to get the correct diagnosis for my specific condition? AI is a tool that can help you get better outcomes and better results with your provider. It's a source of education and empowerment.
And I would say use it wisely, right? So understand that data centers are sometimes often placed in marginalized communities. However, as she said, it's a tool. It could be a tracker. So if you're beginning to experience various symptoms, you can place it, hey, lately I've been experiencing X, Y, and Z. And then when you go to the doctor, you can say, oh, I have this running checklist of things I've been experiencing lately. I wanted to present this to you. What do you think it is?
And also, it can aid you in blood work. You know, what blood work should I ask about? When you get your blood work back, you can take the results, keep your name out of it, but you can then say, you know, what do these kind of results mean, and what other options do I have? And you could come back to the doctor asking, should I have these kind of follow-ups? Can we explore these type of options? So this is a way to put the confidence and the empowerment back in your hands. So it's not like the doctor is speaking with you. You are speaking to you, but you're speaking with, okay? Remember, yes, this is an MD or an MP or PA, all of this. They are humans, they are people, they are souls just like us, and we're gonna talk with and not be spoken to, okay? Next
Amen.
question. Yes, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, this is the next question. I wanna know, we think about the future of healthcare. What do you think the future of what do you think the future of healthcare is for Black women? What does that look like for us?
I think the future of healthcare looks like for us, honestly, empowerment. So many women are going through the empowerment phase and learning to speak up for themselves, learning what to say. So women are learning that, hey, I don't want this, and therefore you can't make me take it. So I think us understanding our empowerment, our confidence, and being on the search for providers that actually help us and understand that our skin folk and kinfolk as well. So finding those providers that are for you, just for you.
So I'm going to talk about in the realm of cardiac because that's my love and that's my passion. I'm going to repeat myself. Heart attacks and heart conditions are the #1 killer of Black women. The future of healthcare changes. I don't want that to be the case. 68% of Black women have hypertension. I need for that number to go down. That means that we have to be educated on what that looks like. We need to go to our doctor every year. We need to monitor our blood pressures. We need to have our labs done because we have to take better care of ourselves. For me, that's the future of healthcare for Black women.
For me, it's for us, by us. I'm looking at all the young girls that are going into STEM. I'm looking at when I show up in spaces, cultural competency is started from the time I enter the door until I leave. I'm looking at providers that look like me, that get all the nuances that come along with me. I can say it in lay terms and they pick it up. I can present my whole self and I not feel ashamed, embarrassed, or anything like that.
Yes, I love these answers. Ladies, you have me thinking too, just like we spoke earlier about you could be visual but not valuable. So we have to be valuable to ourselves, okay? When we go through anything traumatic, we have to make sure we get care. Not just mental health care, but heart health care, physical care, because trauma affects us as a whole person. Unhealed trauma is the hidden cause of most preventable illnesses. 8 out of 10 of the leading causes of death are associated with trauma. So think lung, kidney, heart disease, stroke, suicide, all of them are associated with trauma. So pay attention to your body. The body speaks. Remember, the body keeps score. We are advocating for ourselves. We're keeping that confidence. We're following our checklist. You can even go into AI and say, hey, help me create a checklist for myself. I want to be able to ask confidently the different questions about what's happening to me. Okay, ladies, so I'm going to end it here. We want to know, because I want to know too, where can the audience find you?
You can find me at royaltyhealthinc.com and at royaltyhealthinc on all social media.
You can find me, we're based out of Dallas, Texas, and so we're at www.cardiacfit, cardiacfitt.com. If you're interested, like I said, we had a when they don't listen talk on yesterday, so we talked about symptoms of heart health. So if you need that handout, I have a QR code that you can scan and get it directly sent to your email.
You can find me at thomascollabconsulting.com. Again, that's thomascollabconsulting.com and TCC_collab consulting on Instagram and all other social media handles.
So again, we want to thank our panelists. We want to thank the wonderful Essence family. And just remember, your voice belongs in your healthcare journey. Prevention, education, and healing matter just as much as treatment. We can live so much longer if we took the time to really work on prevention versus reactive. And lastly, the future of healthcare is being shaped by Black women. So let's give it up for our Black women. We over here doing things.
You guys look amazing today.
Yes, yes. And you can catch us at www.hellowellmiss.com. We do monthly virtual support groups for trauma with a trauma therapist, and we have a lot of more great stuff coming down the line. So check us out. Thank you. And give yourself a round of applause, because this was the first step of many.